Hello, I am Maritza Mascarenhas-Sadowsky. I am currently the music teacher at Saint Bernadette Catholic School in Springfield, Virginia. I'm going to be your host for the session using interactive eBooks to increase students' engagement. I have written 2 eBooks published by Alfred Musik, The Tale of Guido and J.P. Sousaphone. They are both interactive digital books. My voice will now guide you throughout this session. We will convene again at the end. Books have always been portals to new dimensions, allowing us to explore the world without leaving our physical space. But what if books themselves could transform into gateways of interactivity and immersion? This is precisely what an interactive ebook is. No longer are ebooks just digital versions of paperbacks. In this session, I will dive deep into how to use these multisensory books in a music classroom, illuminating features and capabilities that are transforming reading into an active experience. The Tale of Guido d'Arezzo and J.P. Sousaphone were carefully developed with attention to ebook design and its effect on children's comprehension. They contain multimedia elements that support children's connection, application of reading skills, and attention to content. The Tale of Guido d'Arezzo will be featured in this presentation as an example of using interactive ebooks to increase students' engagement. I will refer to it as the ebook Guido during this presentation. Interactivity integrates tactile elements for online learners to experience. This helps them to participate in the learning process. These are some of the multisensory elements found in eBook Guido. Embedded sounds, dragging elements, animations, images narration, pop-up illustrations.
Guido left Arezzo to live with the monks in the Abbey of Pomposa, a Benedictine monastery in Italy. He hoped they would welcome his ideas.
I wrote the ebook Guido to fill information gaps about musical notation and solfege. It is a beautifully illustrated, interactive historical fiction about Guido d'Arezzo and his contributions to the development of Western musical notation, including the hexachord system, solmization syllables, music notation. Again, the hexachord system, solmization syllables, music notation. In this section, I will show you how to convey the contents of the ebook Guido into amazing activities to apply in your lesson plans. These activities promote music skills and students' engagement. The materials and procedures used in teaching Guido's contributions will vary depending on the age and grade of students and on teachers' knowledge and imagination. Before presenting ebook Guido, prepare yourself and your students about its contents and tell them what they will be learning. Ask questions such as, what is musical notation? How was it invented? What is solfege? Have you heard of the Middle Ages, Gregorian chants, monks, hexachord, troubadours? Have you heard of do, re, mi? Surprisingly, some may answer yes, in the sound of music, or no, what is the sound of music? After discussing with your students and asking open-ended questions, project, if possible, on a big screen or on the wall, the ebook Guido to the students from beginning to the end. Go through the ebook Guido again, this time pausing on each page, explaining and presenting activities to support the musical content. As the ebook Guido develops, there are key points where students can interact with the plot. These pauses allow teachers to reinforce the music content. Overall, you will find many online activities about solfege, hexachord, psalmization, syllables, and music notation. Let me show you activities you can derive from the ebook Guido based on my own experience. Let's follow Guido.
Around the year 900 AD, a boy was born. His name was Guido. He grew up in Arezzo, a small city in Italy, so he became known as Guido d'Arezzo, or Guido of Arezzo.
Ask a student to click on the highlighted map, and a pop-up picture appears with extra information about Italy and Arezzo. Highlighted pictures are found throughout the ebook. The narrated paragraph on the first page of ebook Guido welcomes cross-curriculum activities such as social studies, visual arts, and language arts. Ask your students, what is AD? When was the medieval period? What was the medieval period? Show a map of Italy and point out where is Arezzo and Pomposa. Which language did they speak in Italy during Guido's time? You may be able to apply extended content about monasteries, scribes. Musical information. Ask your students, how did people sing before Guido d'Arezzo? They sang only one melodic line, unaccompanied by any voices or instruments, called monophony. The word monophony comes from the Latin language and it means mono, it's equal to one, phony, it's equal to sound. You could also teach texture in music. Do you see how one information pulls the other? Illustrate monophony by singing any nursery rhyme with your students without instrumental accompaniment. For example, sing "Shoo Fly, Don't Bother Me," or any other song. Add movements. Emphasize by demonstrating the difference between monophony and polyphony. Sing it in a round or as an ostinato, and tell them that by doing so, it becomes polyphony, or add some instruments to make it into homophony. Show examples of contemporary singing in monophony, like football chants, or Whitney Houston's singing, "I Will Always Love You." Ask your students, how did singers read the notes before Guido? Well, they didn't. There wasn't a practical musical notation. They memorized it. The songs and tunes were passed down from memory before the development of musical notation by Guido d'Arezzo. Continue following Guido. Guido lived in the Middle Ages, and there were two types of songs during this period: secular, which was music about everyday life, and liturgical, music written to glorify God and sang in churches or monasteries. The ebook Guido does not mention secular songs during the Middle Ages, but you can certainly add activities with secular songs. For instance, secular songs were sung with instrumental accompaniment and used the vernacular or local languages. They were songs about love, chivalry, satirical, funny songs, sometimes accompanied by dance. Have your students listen to Calenda Maya, or The Month of May, by the troubadour Rainbow de Vaqueiras, and follow the beat, or improvise an accompaniment by playing drums, tambourines, maracas, bells. Students listen to the 13th century dance Estampie or Necut Ich sorge non, or Once I Knew Not Sorrow, one of the earliest surviving forms of instrumental music. Estampes have a lively and fast rhythm and uses repetition, which is a great opportunity to talk about form in music. Talk to students about the musical instruments used in the Middle Ages: recorder, lute, violin, drums, tambourines. Show them some pictures found on the internet. Students build their own lute with tissue boxes, paper or plastic plates, paper rolls, elastic bands, strings, pencils. Have them wear costumes as troubadours or trouvères with available classroom props. Have a lute player come to perform for your students. Introduce the music of Guillaume de Machaut, a very famous medieval composer of both sacred and secular music. Next, introduce the medieval dance, the Choral. Dance with your students in a ring, chain, linked circle, choo-choo train, while singing with the students. Students can also add locomotor movements like running, walking, marching, accompanied with classroom instruments. Shoe-fly is also a great activity for the kids to experience dancing in a ring. Teach your students the mid-13th century English round of rota, Summer is gekommen in. The summer has arrived. It is a lovely song written in the Wessex dialect of Middle English. Teachers may expand content and explain rota, polyphony. Liturgical songs, plain chant, or cantus planus in Latin, or simply chant, or Gregorian chant, which was named after Pope Gregory I. They are melodies in which liturgical texts are sung in Latin to a single melodic line monophony. They were unaccompanied by any additional voices or instruments and used in the Christian liturgies of the Roman Christian Church. You may be able to explain about musical form, rhyme scheme, plain-chant musical styles, which were syllabic, nomadic, melismatic, according to their grades. Have your students watch and listen to plain chants. See how much you can get out of eBook Guido. And this is only from the first page. Continue following Guido. On page 11 and 12 of eBook Guido, the narrator explains Guido d'Arezzo's major contributions to the system of musical notation: the four-line staff, solmization, the hexachord.
This is how it worked. First, Guido used the two black lines that were already in use. He added a red line between them and a yellow line above them. These four lines became Guido's music staff. Guido told the children that in this new system, the symbols for the sounds would be on each line and space. They would move up, 'up' 'or 'down' 'or 'down' 'or 'up' 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 'or 'down' ' each with their own unique sound.
Students make their own 4-line or 5-line staff. There are lots of other activities online for teaching staff notation.
Guido named the notes using the first syllables from the first 6 lines of the Latin hymn called Ut queant laxis. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, and la. Later, an additional syllable, si, was added. Eventually, do replaced ut and ti replaced si.
The 4-line staff, a set of parallel horizontal lines that indicate the pitch of musical notes. Guido's system used 4 lines of different colors to differentiate each note and help musicians identify pitch levels. Listen to ebook Guido. Solmization. Listen to ebook Guido. It explains how Guido introduced a music notation system known as solfa.
Here is the hymn Ut queant laxis, which is a prayer to Saint John the Baptist, asking him to bless our voices so that we can clearly sing our songs.
Ut queant laxis, resonare fibris, mira gestorum, famuli tuorum, solve paluti labii reatum, sancte Johannes.
Students learn ut, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti using current hand signs. Music Garden has a nice blog about the history of do, re, mi. The Sound of Music movie clip about the do, re, mi song is also a good source for teachers to reinforce content. But emphasize that the syllable names do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti do not come from the movie. Hexachord. Hex in Greek means 6. The word chord comes from the Greek chordon, which means string. So, when one said, "You play a chord," it was meant to play a note by plucking a string on the lyre or lyre. Guido placed the hexachord C, D, E, F, G, A or ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la on a 4-line staff. It proved an effective way to teach the sight reading of music and individual melodies. Listen to the ebook.
Guido adapted a melody for this hymn and taught the children how to read the music. Each line of the hymn begins one note higher than the previous phrase.
Ut laxis resonare fibris mira gestorum famuli tuorum sove polluti labire atum sancte Johannes.
Students explore the hexachord by playing or improvising C, D, E, F, G on pitched classroom instruments. Play the recorder while blowing and speaking ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. It's an amazing experience. Build lyres using tissue boxes, plastic plates, elastic bands. Walk while listening to teachers' improvised melody using C, D, E, F, G, A. When the melody gets stuck on a note, they freeze in place. Another game is the teacher plays C and students play C and D. Another game, teacher plays E, students play E and D, and so forth. Make up a hexachord melody with C, D, E, F, G, A to the word hallelujah, and teach your students to sing it melismatically. Many notes per one syllable, matching the pitches as you play it, like this one. Now add in the hallelujah. Hallelujah. Students may compose other melodies using the hexachord C, D, E, F, G, A and add different words. Upper grade students may be ready to learn that each hexachord includes only one semitone between Mi and Fa. But there were three types of hexachords. The natural, starting on C, C, D, E, F, G, A. The hard hexachord, starting on G, G, A, B, C, D, E. And the soft hexachord, starting on F, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. Briefly explain B flat and B natural only if someone asks. The hexachord Fantasia by Jan Swinglick. It's a wonderful piece illustrating the hexachords. Continue following Guido. Let's apply Guido's contribution, hexachord, solmization, music notation staff, to Obuizana, a folk song from Ghana, Africa, which is a passing game with stones or pebbles. The lyrics are Obiswana sa na na obiswana sa obiswana sa na na obiswana sa. It translates to the rock has crushed my hand, Grandma. The rock has crushed my hand. It can be sang. Pass the rock around, we'll pass the rock around. Pass the rock around and just keep it to the ground. Or pass the rock around and don't pass it and you're out. Have students listen to a recording of Obuizana. The melody uses the 6-note sequence ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, or C, D, E, F, G, A. It is easy for students to solfege, which is the solmization. It's not complicated to notate the rhythm and melody on a 4 to 5 line staff. Musical notation on the staff, due to its repetition. When I mention the melody uses the 6-note sequence, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, we are talking about the hexachord. Teach this song to students following any method that works for you and your students. Obiswana sa na na obiswana sa obiswana sa na na obiswana sa. Teach this song to students following any method that works for you and your students. Obiswana sa na na obiswana sa obiswana sa na na obiswana sa. The teacher sings the song a cappella or unaccompanied. Students learn song by rote, echoing teacher, patting the steady beat, clapping the rhythm, and singing with a neutral syllable lu. Speak and sing the English translation of the lyrics, matching the rhythm. Add psalmization, current hand signs while singing the melody. Play the game with locomotor and non-locomotor movements, passing the rock or a stick, or even like claves, to the right with one stick, then two sticks, or you can even include a painted rock. This is the procedure that I follow. After students are familiar and engaged with the song, talk to students about the song. Where's this song from? Which language do they speak in Ghana? Which language is Obi Wuzana sung? How many parts does this song have? Demonstrate the different parts with hand movements. Also with body movements or just movements. The students may dance or march to part 1 and slide or go to the left to part 2. Add movements, hand claps, call and response, and add classroom instruments. Students can later on make up new lyrics to the song or improvise accompaniments. Sing the melody in unison, monophony, in a round. Play classroom instruments to the steady beat while singing. Use a drone C sound on a bass xylophone for ostinato. Add different dynamics, tempi. Use your imagination. Improvise. Ask the children for suggestions. Many other activities and songs can be used to the content of ebook Guido while integrating play and instruction. Use flashcard, card games for psalmization, interval year training, encourage students to compose or improvise, suggest apps to students to connect with Guido's music contribution, ask students to notate on the staff the melodies they hear, play a broken record game, kind of similar than what I have said before. Students this time walk with your improvised melody. When the melody gets stuck on a note, they freeze, and they could show the appropriate cover hand signs for the stuck note when they freeze. And there are many different songs. These are, you see on the slides, just some examples of Hula Macdoob, Pop Goes the Weasel, Up on the Housetop, El Juego Chirimbolo, Friar Jack. All these songs, they just use the hexachord C, G, E, F, G, A, or Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La. Also, you could add some other medieval dances from the medieval period, which is Saltarello and La Folia.
And guess what? The choir children got it! They were reading music! No longer was it necessary to memorize the songs to remember them!
Guido, Guido, Guido!
Thank you, Guido d'Arezzo! Prego!
Hello again. As Gregorian chant developed and became widespread in the early medieval period, monks in the monasteries wanted to find ways to preserve their various chants and teach them to younger monks. Building on earlier music theory, Guido d'Arezzo, a monk, teacher, and music theorist from Italy, solidified and improved the various attempts at musical notation that had preceded him. As a result of Guido's innovations, the possibility of sight reading first emerged, and music could be shared over great distances and could be sung by people who had never heard it performed. Throughout this session, I presented many kinesthetic, auditory, and visual activities that were drawn from the ebook Guido. The procedure is to show the ebook and then show it again, stopping on the pages and adding activities related to the content of the pages. Once familiar with the ebook Guido, students will all cheer at the end of each music class, and Guido will be pleased. He will wink his eye and he will say, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you need further information, you can reach me at drm@verizon.net. And don't forget, you can get my 2 ebooks at www.alfred.com. Thank you very much.